Welcome to the Globetrottin ADs. This podcast is for you, athletic directors, activity coordinators, coaches, and program associates based in international schools around the world. The Globetrottin ADs is proudly hosted by Nick DeForest from the American International School Vienna and Matt Fleming from the American International School of Budapest. Here they are now, Nick and Matt and the Globetrottin ADs.
Welcome to this edition of the Globetrottin ADs. We have a special edition today where we're going to do a little wrap-up of our recent online conference series from July 8th and July 22nd. Joining us today also will be our co-presenters from the online conference, Dave Horner from Belgrade, Chris Mott from soon-to-be Bangkok, formerly from Peru, and as always, my co-host, partner in crime from Vienna, Nick DeForest.
Yes, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Chris and Dave. Hopefully a little bit of a fun episode today. I hope I sound all right. Chris, Dave, does I sound all right now? This is take 3. Maybe you hear the outtakes at some point, maybe not. But yeah, here we go. We have some clips from most of our keynotes to play at some point and talk about, but we also want to talk about a couple of other things. Chris, you want to start us off? You're just waking up in Florida. What was your favorite part of the last couple of days?
The 8th and the 22nd,
well,
or
whatever,
just 22nd?
Anytime. No, either way.
Honestly, the 8th was awesome. The 8th was completely different to the original conference that was done, and I really enjoyed just the short one kind of day format. I thought that was really cool. It's a great idea, Nick. And then the 22nd was even better in some ways because it was a follow-up to what you'd done on the 8th. So I feel like the community is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but our outreach is getting wider. It was just great to see everybody and come back again and just reconnect. So I like that.
Cool. What about you, Dave?
I think what was really interesting was hearing people talk about where they were in terms of what was happening at their schools on July the 8th, and then listening again on July 22nd to either people having gone back to school and some of the limitations that were placed on them by either governments or schools in sort of these pandemic times. It's really good to listen to because we're going to be going back to school in a couple of months, just less than a couple of months, and we don't really know what we're walking into. So to hear people who have sort of been on the ground in the schools doing procedures and protocols that are going to keep our kids safe and our teachers safe, it's really interesting.
Yeah, it was good. Those roundtables were a main feature of yesterday, right? What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I think my two big takeaways were, number one, of course, the opportunity to collaborate with folks who were all doing similar jobs all over the world. And really, it's amazing to see how we're all in such a similar situation as not really knowing what's going to happen just yet, but everybody's kind of like at the ready to get going with putting programs back in place and getting school back in place and getting life back to normal as quickly as possible. So that was one common theme. It seemed to be, no matter where folks were coming from throughout the world in their international school location, that was a common theme. People were really anxious to get back and ready to get back and work with kids again. The other big takeaway, I really felt lucky and fortunate that the presenters we had, was a great range of folks. We had a good variety of topics, presentations, and it was just great that we could get Greg Dale to participate and give a presentation. We had Rudy. It was awesome. So it was just nice to have a good wide range of these different topics that we could hear from and learn about.
Yeah, I mean, we want to talk about the roundtables a bit more. But I think one of my favorite parts, I think, Chris, you touched on it. It was a lot less than the first conference. It's hard thinking back that in April we had 2 days in a row of 11 hours in a row each day, and at every hour were 2 or 3 sessions. I just can't believe we did that. looking back, like yesterday was 9 hours with some breaks. It was super relaxed and tons of great stuff. I don't know if we could ever or want to do something as full as the last time, but it's also a different time, right? We were all at home. We were all looking for something to do. We weren't in our schools or thinking about going back anytime soon. So it was a bit different. But on the roundtables, what did you, Chris? You started the day off with an Asian roundtable. That was really, really a good conversation. What do you?
Yeah, it was a great conversation. Actually, it was my introduction to a lot of the people in that region. But it was clear that everyone has this assumption that Asia is so far ahead of the curve, like because that's where it all started. But actually, we're just kind of moving through the same processes as later in the day. I did the African roundtable, and it was the same kind of conversation. It was what are different schools doing, and it's really guided by government regulations more than school regulation. So everyone has to try and work out. Malaysia is going to be different to Thailand, and being able to identify those regulations and move through that process is really interesting. So, I mean, I really enjoyed the roundtable, and that's why I said to them, in a couple of weeks we'll do it again.
And what about in Europe? That was the same thing, right? Lots of different people from different conferences, which was good. Yeah, Dave, you didn't really get the answers you were looking for. I think anyone that was in there knows you're keen on locker rooms and how to keep the kids safe in the locker rooms. So that's some more.
I think it's more just kind of having people in a school facility where it's built for X number of students, and we're only allowed to now socially distance them a certain amount of meters away. So then you lose a percentage of the number of students that you can actually fit in the physical plant of the building. And then how do you go about moving those people from one place to another, making sure you clean up afterwards, making sure that you're not going to create this little petri dish of COVID within your school.
Right. Yeah.
But Dave,
it was interesting to hear some of the plans in place to deal with that too. Some schools already have those things in place, which I had never heard before. There was a school in Brazil. I can't remember the exact location, but they were talking about they're going to a plan called the 4 and 10 plan, where I guess it's 4 days in school and then 10 days out. And basically the student population is cut in half. You have an A and a B group, and one group goes 4 days, out 10. Then the next group comes in 4 and 10. And then in between time, they have big cleanup of the school or big disinfection, deep clean. So that was interesting to hear about.
What were you going to say, Dave? No, I thought you were
Yeah, cut off Chris. Sorry, Chris.
It was Chris, yeah.
No, I was going to ask Dave. It's interesting because Bangkok's opening in like 2 weeks, right? But you just mentioned that you're not opening for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So your conversation about locker rooms really doesn't need to happen until 6 weeks from now, because the amount of things that are going to change in the next 6 to 7 weeks, it will be impossible for you to keep up with.
Could be, yeah.
It's true.
It's funny. Dave, we were bugging you about the locker rooms, but it's a serious question, and you explained it well. But it does show that everybody in even in the same country, maybe on total different wavelengths about what they're worried about for their school or their kids. It's so many different things. Where I may think, well, that doesn't matter, and for you, that's a top priority. We saw that a lot.
The other thing that was interesting was, people talking about the possibility of playing local games against other schools. And then if you're socially distancing, are you going to transport those kids on 2-3 different buses? If it's a soccer team and you've got 17 kids to transport, because you can't put them right next to each other. It's like 50% capacity or whatever your government's going to allow.
Right.
It's going to be interesting.
Right. Well, there was a lot of people on yesterday. Definitely not as many as I expected for some of the sessions, but it's summer, I know. But it was good to see some of the same people, throughout the day. A lot of people I think that were in it. They didn't just jump in for one session; they stayed through. And I think that maybe, one of the problems with recording everything. It's great. I know everyone's, eager to see things they didn't get to see live when you can watch the recording. But I wonder what you guys think about. Maybe the next time not offering the recordings, and if you want to be there, you got to be there online. I don't know. I was just surprised at some of the low numbers. Let's say 30 people in one session when I thought there should have been or could have been way more.
I like the recordings. I'm sending an email to Bangkok coaching staff later on today, and I've included both Greg Dale's, Nathan Whitaker's, and Rudy's as links, just for them to say, hey, when you got some time, listen to these. So I mean, and I'm going to go back time and time again to listen to those, because the information that I was getting out of Greg Dale and Nathan Whitaker, I don't think I've processed absolutely everything that was offered. And even with Rudy, like I said to you guys on message, I don't know what I was expecting from Rudy, but it wasn't. I'm not sure if he was the way I thought he was supposed to be, but he was awesome. Like he was just a sweet guy, like amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I still like the recordings because actually I was able to share it with somebody who's a part of our school community, but he's actually also the national Hungarian rugby coach. He's a friend of mine. He's a Welsh guy. He's our elementary school activities coordinator, so he's a part-time employee at the school. He's married a Hungarian. He's been here a long time, but he actually coaches and runs rugby programs here in Hungary. And I was telling him I saw him today. I was telling him all about the online conference, and I specifically was mentioning about Greg Dale and his presentation about instilling grit and mental toughness in your team. I thought this could be something that would be totally applicable for him in dealing with all levels of his programs, because he works with the senior side, he works with the youth, U18s, U16s for the rugby clubs here in Hungary. So he couldn't make the conference for whatever reason, but he has it now as a resource. So I think for me, there's an opportunity to share a resource and give him some information and insight that he could probably use.
It's definitely a resource to share, because we're on so many different time zones, right? That was one of the main things we thought of back before the first conference was, clearly no one can be on, or no one, except for a few crazy people out there, can be on for every hour when you're, maybe not in Europe, because when you're in Europe, it's easy. With the time.
I think that's part of the beauty of what we do and what we're providing for folks. So yeah, hopefully the next one will get some more people for sure. Live participation.
Yeah. Well, you guys talked a couple times about some people like Greg and Rudy, and we talked about the recording. So obviously anyone can go back that was at the conference and listen to the recordings. I've sent the links out. You can contact me if you didn't get them and you still want to see them. That's no problem. And we want to let's go through some of the clips right now and then talk about each one a little bit. Some of the clips are shorter, some are longer, but let's start right now with Sebastian. He kicked off the conference on the 8th, so let's start with him. And here you go. Sebastian Bellin from July 8th.
Extremes are not sustainable. And when we live in a world where the obsession is with quantity, where the extremes are measured only through a metric system that is focused on quantity, I don't think good things happen in the long term. The difference between quantity and quality is what has made the difference in my life.
Yeah, short clip there. That was one of his 4 pillars. And he talked about quantity versus quality and things you can put a measure on or a count, right? It was a pretty powerful person and powerful message, to start off.
Yeah, what an inspirational speech he gave. I mean, I have to be honest, I really wasn't super familiar with him before he came to the conference, and then to actually have the time to sit there and listen to his story, and then how he's transformed that into a really positive approach to his life and moving forward, and then sharing that with others. So that was great. Again, we were pretty lucky to get a guy like that to help us out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know he goes to schools and talks, and our friend Scott in Dubai, he was going to have him over for their sports banquet and speak to the schools. And then with the schools being closed, they did it virtually. But he's I think a great resource for any of our schools or communities. Let's go to Greg. Greg Dale did 2 sessions. Obviously, you talked about him a little bit already today. After our session yesterday, he went and spoke to 10,000 high school students for the NFHS Leadership Summit. So from our about 30 live people to a crowd of 10,000 is just still crazy. I told a few people last night and this morning about that. But he did 2 sessions. This is from the one yesterday. And Dave, you picked it out, so be prepared to talk after this one.
I have to go to practice today. I get to go to practice today. I want to go to practice today. There's no question. There's a different level of engagement in something when I look at it like I have to do this. I have to is an obligation.
All right. So for me with Greg, what I think is really interesting is that he is able to discuss and describe things in a sort of a way that I could go and talk to a student about it and they would understand what it is that I'm saying. And this is a person that works with top level athletes. These are people who are already have played at a high level in high school. Now they're in college at Duke University, and some of them are going off and playing in the NBA and being international swimmers or being international, professional athletes. But he talks about it in such a way that makes it almost, he just breaks it down, makes it so simple and so easy to understand. And that's what I think is his great that's his awesomeness, I think, is just the way that he describes things, and he makes it so easy.
Yes, super down to earth, approachable, and everything he said just made sense. And he had great answers for every question, like stuff you could use like right now and apply.
Yeah, absolutely. And
the extension of the invitation to tour Duke University.
He did say that publicly to everyone that was on the
What
Zoom.
a win for us.
But absolutely no basketball tickets. He made that clear.
Absolutely
no basketball
tickets.
No. He didn't say no basketball tickets.
Okay.
What?
He said the chance. I thought he said that the chances are lower.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, we can go watch a recording, right? That's kind of what we're talking about. We can check that out.
That's right. It's in the archive. Just have to get to North Carolina in February somehow.
So we just have. I just think you just need to take that recording to the main ticket office and just play it. Because we don't need tickets, because if you just listen to the recording,
it says it. Yeah.
There's it in there. Yeah. If you're not sure, you could just give Greg Dale a call and get him down here. We'll talk to him.
Chris, you're doing pretty good. I mean, you're going to go up to Duke with a recording, right? And you're going to write a book with Nathan, right? Well, so hey, this is working out pretty well for you.
I'm still thinking about the book with Nathan. Okay. I mean, I'll see what ideas he has. I'm not committed. Yeah.
All right, let's stay on yesterday, and let's.
I just want to say, Nick, just about Greg Dale. Just the one thing I really, really enjoyed about Greg Dale, and I agree with both Dave and Matt, but he didn't distinguish between high-level athletes and high school kids. His message was very it's the same across the board. Athletes are athletes, people are people. This is the way it operates. Nothing changes from when you go to high school to how you're thinking when you go to a college level. And I think that's really important because, as younger athletes, you often think, an older athlete already has this entire thing worked out. But all these specialties, the speakers that we had were saying the same thing, right? They were saying actually they don't have it worked out. They're going through the same. So I thought that was
level. Yeah, and he even said on the 8th where he mentioned how he works with NBA coaches, and it's the same thing.
Yeah,
NBA coach, youth coach, high school coach. Very very similar. All right. Well, let's hear the next one. It's another short one. It's from yesterday, and it's from Rudy.
And this is what an athletic director does. Don't show how important you are. You'll lose all your people. Show them that they're important, and you're just there to help them and empower them to feel important. Yeah,
good message of. Well, he's an inspiration, right? He's very motivating, and that was a good thing about us as athletic directors, showing how important it's not about us. Yeah, we may be on the mic in front of hosting a tournament or giving out the awards. but it's not about us. It's not our show, right? We're there for the kids.
Yeah, I think like when he was talking about, you want to be able to give people the tools and the confidence to go ahead and use those tools. And that's really our job, is to empower kids and our coaches to be the best that they can be.
And he didn't just talk about coaches and athletes. He talked about janitors. He talked about every single person that's in that building or is involved in the program.
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter, right? No level. Everyone's just as important. Yeah. Really good.
I mean, it supports the idea of what we do as ADs and activity coordinators. It's all about service and servant leadership and providing those best opportunities, putting people in places where they can do the best they can do. And we have to do all the behind the scenes work to make sure it's as comfortable, as serviceable as possible.
Yeah, great. Well, we started the day yesterday with Peter Welsh, the director of AIS Bucharest, and a bit of a longer clip from him. But his session was a bit different than what we're used to. Let's say the norm from our conference so far, but it was great. It was called Working Across Cultures, and it's something he's really interested in and works a lot on, and it's really for any kind of international school teacher. And but he brought it to athletic directors for some point, and here's a bit of a longer clip. It's just about a minute.
When we introduce a new student into an international school, we label them. You receive information. The grade 3 teacher says, hey, next Monday, you're getting a new student. She is from Japan, right? And the grade 3 teacher then brings to mind all the stereotypes she has about Japanese children. And on Monday morning, she goes, hello, Jenny. Welcome. And she'll probably lower her voice. Are you okay? Great. So that one piece of information that Jenny's from Japan has framed that entire human interaction. Now, Jenny may be, she may be crazy. She may be nothing like that. She may not be formal and polite, which are our stereotypes of Japan. But that stereotype threat has changed Jenny's experience in that classroom, maybe on the first day, but maybe forever. So as ADs and coaches, how you frame people, how you think about them, how you label will affect how they respond to you. Hey, big guy. Right?
Yep. Yeah. Great. Lots of stuff to think about right in there, and how we do stuff. And he started the talk off with a picture of the international, I think, food fest at his school, and talked about how we all have these very stereotypical food fests and do these things, and how we're not so international and open as we think we are. You missed it, Chris. Have you watched the recording yet?
I haven't watched the recording yet,
okay.
But I just know, I mean, just listening to that clip, I'm just like, totally, that's exactly what Peter would do. And I think that for us, just to put it into context, it's the same thing. For me, it would be, hey, Chris, there's a new 6'3" American kid coming to the school next week. What's my immediate thought?
Basketball team, baby.
Basketball, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the immediate thought that I'll go to is the basketball kid, and I'm just trying to translate it into context. But yeah, right. Peter's really good at that. Peter helped me understand that, how to frame things and how you interact with people and how you make these perceived perceptions of what people are into. I mean, that's just a general life rule anyway, but
yeah. Some really good stuff, really good info from lots of other places, not just things from him, he drew his research from other places. Great. And really great for any teacher, like you said about sharing with your coaches, or Matt, you sharing with your coach there. It's something we should all watch. It's a good time to watch that video. And a book coming out, actually, he mentioned as well, which should be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Another book deal, man.
Yeah. I don't think you're not in this one. All right. Well, we got two clips left to go. We're gonna hear a clip from Doug Kilgore, Bowtie AD. Definitely a keynote in his own right, and a great supporter of us. And Yeah, here we go. Great little clip here.
Do not exceed the scope of your training, and have coaches acknowledge that and agree to adhere to that. We are not counselors. We are not emotional counselors. We are not nutritional dietitians. We can't address some things such as eating disorder, psychological, homebound needs, and any number of things like this. We may be highly trained professionals in some areas, but not all areas. To recognize when an injury is minor and when an injury is more serious and complicated.
Yeah, I mean, his session was great. It was like a checklist, for what you need to have in a really top program, and I thought that was great thing to hear and to remember that we don't have to do everything. We don't have to know everything or be the experts at this. It's okay if we could say to our coaches or our kids, hey, I'm not really sure. I'll check. Or let's, like you said, nutritionist, dietist, counselor. I don't know how many times you guys have had kids come and you feel like a counselor. And I'm sure we do good jobs. Coaches counsel our kids all the time, but we got to know when, okay, hand this over to a professional, right?
I think it was, Doug's great because he's concise and he's accurate with his presentations, and it's a reinforcement of that, always using best practice, always doing what's best for kids in the program. So and he presents it in such an entertaining way. He's very enthusiastic and positive. So that's what I enjoyed about listening to his presentation as well. It's always a pleasure to listen to him.
Great. All right. Well, let's go to the last one, and it's Nathan, Chris's new book co-author. Nice hair. That was good. We have to show the video of this now. Good. Here we go.
Hey, look, this does not have to be where I want to end, right? My goal today doesn't have to be my ultimate, or my role today doesn't have to be my ultimate goal. But it's something I need to be good at for the team, for my people around, for my coaches, for the people under me, whatever it is. I need to be good at this. I need to own it.
Yeah, that was ownership. Second letter. He talked about the soul of a team, SOUL, and I like that statement of your role on the team. You say that to the kids. Hey, your role on the team this year, you're an underclassman. You're not going to play much of a role. But to make the kids understand that your role isn't your goal. It isn't not where you want to be. You know that. We know you don't want to sit on the bench and come in for a minute all the time, but you need to own it, and make the kids feel like they can.
That clip and then his example, what I liked about Nathan is that he was able to give most of the time a personal example of why he came up with that. And I remember him talking about being he didn't play until like the last minute. I can't remember if it was football or basketball, but his coach came up to him at one point and said, the reason I do this is because you're a defenseman and I need you at the end of the game. And that's all he needed. And that was just, for me, that was the light bulb of, oh yeah, that's what we all need as athletes, right? We need that communication with our coach. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's what I really liked about him.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of makes me wonder, like I don't necessarily always think to ask whether the kids understand their roles within teams or whether coaches understand their role within the department that they're working in. So it sort of made me think about that and sort of asking people what they think their role is and then perhaps having a conversation around that.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever had a conversation with a coach to say your role is to win this tournament?
No.
Not yet.
So, not yet. But I think my point is then why do coaches constantly go into these tournaments with the understanding that that's what they have to do?
They want to win, yeah.
I'll have a caveat for that. Only if we're playing Vienna. Oh. That's a little different.
No, but yeah. I mean, you're right, Chris. We all laughed if you ever said that to a coach, because of course we haven't, right? And then we're in international school. We don't care. I think but
it's the old saying, winning second. Athletes first, winning second, right? It's so far away from what we do and how we work with coaches. I mean, it's important. I think we all know everybody loves to win. Everybody wants to be in the game and be competitive, but at the end of the day, it's not what we're all about.
Sure. I mean,
Sure.
I'm sure we have all have coaches that come in and tell us that they won the game last night or how bad they beat the other team last night. And I know we have one, Matt, that he does it all the time. You know him. He does it all the time. You know, hey, we just won all 3 games last week. And it was a friendly, and it was 4-minute quarters with no shot clock, running time. Yeah, we beat them all. Yeah, it was great. Okay, well, did your kids have fun? Yeah, we won this one game by 20 points. And then you have the longer conversation, right? But
did the kids all play? No.
No.
I still had kids on the bench.
Yeah.
Well, but the opportunity didn't really come up.
Yeah. Too focused. The game was over too quick. Yeah. So there was I don't know, 6 clips from the keynotes, but obviously there was lots of other great presentations and even more. The people like myself who did a presentation who don't do this all the time. We're not speakers, so definitely want to thank Christine, Scott, Eric, Gil, Tudor, Lee. That was all on the 8th, and then on the 22nd. And James, Jared, Jason, Craig, Annie, Luke, Oliver, Sarah, Aaron. Let's see, a couple more. And Freddie, of course, Dave and Matt, and Chris, you did a round table as well. So lots of people took part and made the 2 days great. So thanks to all you guys as well. Even we didn't play your clip. You can still go back and watch the recordings.
Is Scott going to be upset that we didn't play a clip from his?
He might. Well, he might be. We didn't mention Jim yet. He's been WhatsApping us while we're doing this. We could mention at least Jim.
I think we should also mention
open appearance. That was good.
What's his name? Mike Denef.
Yeah.
Didn't get to all the sessions, but in true Canadian style, he did send an email to apologize. He wouldn't be at all the sessions.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. We're nice people, us Canadians.
I think Budapest should get a special mention. I think we led the charge with the most coaches participating in the online conference.
Drew
I don't
had
know.
a couple. I don't know.
Out there. I don't know. We had 3, 4 including me.
Yeah.
No, but Nick, you big hats off to you too, man. You knocked it out of the park once again. You're driving the bus. You're heading us up in the right direction, and you're doing an awesome job. We're getting a lot of great feedback about you and all the hard work you're putting in. It's awesome. I love doing all this with you and Chris and Dave. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the next our next initiative.
Yeah. What's that going to be, Chris? You have lots of ideas. What are you thinking? What's in
I already shared my idea.
By the way, thank you, Matt, for that. Sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I just say. I mean, I don't know. Do we want to talk about those ideas now?
I know we definitely want to do something in the fall, late fall.
We'll give a sneak peek later on.
Include other people, not just ADs and coaches, right? That's kind of what we're looking at, right? Yeah. This will definitely be the last podcast of the first season of the Globetrottin ADs, a special edition, I think. And we're looking forward to next season already. We got some new things in the hopper, especially with School Rubric. They have lots of great stuff for international schools or any kind of educators. And they have 4 podcasts they feature on their website, and we'll be the 5th one. So we're looking forward to that, and let's say the new opportunities that brings. So thanks to Wallace and Ryan for our work so far, and that'll be something new for next season. Yeah. And we'll get Dave on there. Dave, I promise. Not that we left you out, but we'll definitely have an episode with you. So think about what you want to talk about, what you want to feature. We can do that early in season 2.
Zoom drinking.
What do you have right now?
Oh, it's just water.
Okay. It was late. It was a late night yesterday, though. After the conference was over, we had our poker cool down, I would say. That was a lot of fun. And as Matt, thanks for thanking me, but thanks you guys. Obviously, as well. It's definitely fun to do all this stuff, but it wouldn't be near as fun without you guys. So appreciate you. Yeah, and we also don't want to forget our partnership with ICMIC. So if you love the 2 days and feel like you want to donate something, then go to the Summer Conference Series website. You can see the info there and click through our link to donate. Okay.
All right.
Anything
Nick,
else for the...
Nick, are you getting on a podcast with Rudy? Is that happening?
He mentioned that, didn't he?
He did mention. I
haven't checked my emails today very thoroughly. I know there's lots of emails out there I need to answer from people. I will, and I appreciate lots of the emails I got, but maybe there's one from him there.
Maybe if we ever go to Las Vegas, there'll be a visit to Rudy as well.
Yeah, we could do some live ones from all over the
That's right.
world. Once we can start
There's no way I'm
flying
going
everywhere.
to Vegas.
No?
People. There's no way we're going to Vegas together. No way.
We're looking forward to Tampa. If that happens, we could do one there for sure, right? Are you going to get to go, Chris?
To where?
Well, Tampa with your new school. Are they going to let you go?
Yeah.
Is that written in the contract? That'd be pretty good. Oh. Okay, cool. All right. Well, that's it. That's our conference recap. Let's have a summer break and talk to each other in August.
Yeah. See you guys next time.
Okay. Thanks everybody. Thanks Chris. Thanks Dave. Thanks Matt.
Cheers. Adios from the Globetrottin ADs. Enjoy the rest of your summers.
A blooper reel. Yeah, we could do a blooper reel at some point.
Dun, 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 dun.
Are we
Ready?
gonna start again, or is this it? Like you?
Wait, you said you were going to record it and post it, and then Matt's doing this.
Yeah. we had plans to show the video as well, but Matt just threw that out the window right at the beginning.
That's my part of my warm up.
It's been a while, Matt, but you don't have to yell into the camera either. You don't have to yell into the mic. It's just take it easy.
I do the Fred. All right.
That's right.
Let's start again. I won't make any.
Should we start again? I might just put this in. Well, you'll just find out. You'll see. Well, why don't you start it again, Matt? Like pretend. So if either we air this like this and everyone hears it and laughs at us, or we cut it out and then we just start like now. You're making funny faces at me, Chris, right now.
Yeah, that sounded awful.
What sounded awful?
I didn't want to say anything.
It sounded like you were possessed.
Do I sound all right now?
Now you sound good.
Okay. Well, that's progress. Okay. Let's start again. Should I play the music this time?
Online conference series from July 15th and the 22nd. I screwed that up. What were the dates again? Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to our
Hey, I got dinner reservations at 6:30. Quit screwing around.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. This time for real. This time for real.
For real, for real.
For real, for real.
This has been another episode of the Globetrottin ADs.